In this video, I'm going to talk about the literary devices, theme, message, and the tone of the poem Animals by Walt Whitman. So let's begin with the literary devices. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. So here you see long and long. There is repetition of the word long. This is the device repetition. Alliteration is the second device that we see here. Look at them long and long. The initial sound L is in the beginning of a string of words in a sentence. That is alliteration. Coming to the second stanza, anaphora is the first device that we see. Here, if you see the first three lines, they do not sweat and whine, they do not lie, they do not. So they do not sweat, they do not lie, they do not make. They do not has been repeated. It's a phrase that has been repeated in the beginning of consecutive lines. This is anaphora. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented. If you see here, not one and not one here in the same line, the phrases are there in the beginning of consecutive phrases. So not one is repeated in the beginning of consecutive phrases. So this is also anaphora. Alliteration, discussing their duty. There is D in the beginning of consecutive words. Initial sound D. Make me, though it's a very, very simple alliteration, but undoubtedly it is alliteration. The initial sound M in the beginning of consecutive words. Here, not one kneels to another, not one. Again, we find anaphora here. Not one kneels to one another, nor to his kind, and not one. So in consecutive lines, not one is repeated in the beginning of consecutive lines, making it anaphora. Alliteration, so they show. Here, similar sounding, so and sh. Initial sound S in the beginning of words in a sentence. This is alliteration. Next stanza. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. A very important device here is metaphor, tokens of myself. Like I have discussed in my previous video, token means the qualities of the human beings which the poet finds the animals possess. So the qualities have been assumed to be tokens. So metaphor is a device where one object is assumed to be the other. Therefore, here tokens of myself, qualities assumed to be tokens, is a metaphor. We have a lot of alliterations here. Wonderware, initial sound W in the beginning of consecutive words. Then they get those tokens, initial sound the in the beginning of words in a sentence. They get those tokens. Now this is also visual alliteration. It is T which is visible there in all these three words. Plainly in their possession. So P, repetition of P in the beginning, the initial sound P makes it alliteration. We again see here anaphora. They bring the events, though a simple anaphora, but here the consecutive phrases are beginning with the same word, they. Coming to the theme, the message, and the tone. So what is theme? Theme is what the poet wants to talk about, what the poet is talking about in the poem. What is the message? Message is that what do you learn from the poem? When the poet is talking about something and he is teaching something, he is giving a learning. There is some learning. That is the message. And tone is that when you read the poem, what comes to your mind? That what was the poet's state of mind? The poet was happy, was sad, and there are different tones in which a poem is written. So let's come to that. The theme of the poem here is the comparison between the qualities in humans and animals, where the poet finds animals better than human beings. So that is the theme of the poem. The poet here is comparing animals with human beings. Comparison is the theme here. What is the tone of the poet? So when you read the poem, you would understand that when the poet was writing this poem, the state of mind, his state of mind was wishful. He wished, he wanted something, he desired something, and he was pretty serious about it. He was wishing something seriously. Solemn means something serious. So therefore, the tone of the poem is wishful and solemn. And what is the message that the poet wishes to give through the poem is that the human beings have lost their innate good qualities which they possessed before they got evolved from animals into human beings. And that is the message the poet wishes to convey, that the human beings have changed for the worse. They have lost all their good qualities which animals still possess. So that is the theme, the message, and the tone of the poem. Thank you. Hoping that you liked the video and understood well. See you in my other videos. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.